My testimony, my story of faith is entitled Clowning Around with Betty Ann. I had a wonderful friend I mentioned who had taught me sign language. Her name is Betty Ann. Her name signed Betty Ann, and some people sign Betty Ann. Well, she and I made really good friends. She taught me so much sign, and I was doing ministry with children in a town near Tulsa, and so she would help me sometimes. So we dressed up like clowns to go and minister, to do a program to encourage joy and hope in Jesus Christ. Well, you got to understand, a wonderful guy gave me his car. It was an old car. This was in the late 80s, but I was given a car that was from the 50s. And that car I called my Flintstone Mobile. You know, that cartoon called the Flintstones. You know, they had those little cars where their little feet go through and move. Well, my car had an interesting problem. In the back seat, it had an empty spot on the floorboard. So I'd have to tell the people, the kids who rode with me, now your feet, don't put them through there or you'll get them chopped off. So you have to put, if you want to ride with me, you're going to have to put your feet over in that middle part so you can keep your feet protected. Also in the front seat, there was all of the foam and all of the material that you could see. You'd see the big coil, the big metal coil coming out. So it was not comfortable at all, but I was really thankful to have a car because I'd never had a car before, and it was a gift, and I was appreciative of that car. But it had some problems. So anyway, one day, Betty and I were totally dressed as clowns, and we were going to go and buy some seat belts because that car did not have seat belts either. So we were going to stop at the junkyard and buy some seat belts. So on the way there, we had a problem. But first, let me let you know, I had been thinking, oh, you know, I had a friend and I didn't mean to, but my actions hurt them. So I had been really troubled by that because I hadn't wanted to hurt my friend. But as I was driving along, we were going into this small town that was a part of a huge city. And as I was driving there, I noted that I had no brakes. I pushed on the brakes, there's absolutely no brakes. So I saw up ahead, just a couple of miles ahead, there was a light and it was a four-way stop and there were cars everywhere. So I said, oh Lord, what are we going to do? And as I was crying out, knowing that we probably could die because we were going about 40 miles per hour and we had absolutely no way to stop the car. So I let her know there was no brakes, and we were praying. I said, Lord, you know, even though I hurt someone's feelings, and I was able to just think about my life and say, I'm so thankful that you forgive me. And even though I might die right now, I know that I'm saved by grace, by your kindness, by your forgiveness. So my life was quickly being considered, and I knew that if I died, I'd be forgiven and welcome to his home in heaven. But as we were driving, I said, what to do, because I didn't know about the other cars, the people around me, if they were Christians or not. If I wrecked into them and killed them, where would their opportunity to know Jesus be? So I thought, she and I are Christians, so what are we going to do? We better do something where we don't hurt somebody else. So we got up to the light, and so we pulled into a gas station. What was I thinking? I later thought, what have I done? I pulled in the gas station because I knew if we hit that, it might explode. So then I saw there was a telephone pole, and so I went straight for the telephone pole, and I didn't notice that there was a piece of cement. It was in a pyramid. It was low to the ground, and it was a place where there used to be a metal sign there, but the sign had been taken down But there still was that piece of cement that was there was still that piece of cement there in a pyramid. So my car was very low to the ground. So when that hit that cement, it went into it, pulled the car back. Our car went way back. We were totally dressed as clowns. And then Betty Ann, her head went up to the windshield, hit the glass of that area, boom, came back. And we turned and looked at each other. And we got so excited, and we grabbed each other, and we started screaming. And we recognized, she said, my clown hair helped to protect my head. Because you see the windshield, it broke and scattered out, but her head was protected. And so we looked at each other thrilled, hugging each other. We got out of the car, we started dancing around, hugging each other, jumping up and down. And there were people who were driving up to the light looking, and they were just smiling and laughing. And we knew that they looked at that old 50s car, and they looked at these two young ladies with clown outfits on, and they thought that it was just a performance at their local gas station. So, you know, I want to let you know, it was a joy to clown around with Betty Ann. After that happened, we got a ride to the hospital where we went ahead and performed and encouraged one little girl who had a broken leg to trust in Jesus. I want to let you know, my experience in my clown car has caused me to remember, God is good. And no matter what has happened in my life, if I'm trusting in Him, seeking to obey Him, seeking to follow Him, He's faithful, and He gives grace, amazing, amazing grace. And that's not something that's funny. It's a joyful gift. And I'm not clowning around with you. That's the truth. Trust in the Lord. Trust His grace. It's eternal. Trust Him.